Hi there, we're talking with Jarrett Krosoczka, author of the Lunch Lady series. So Jarrett, what can you tell me about the newest books that are coming out in the next couple months?
Sure. Lunch Lady, the graphic novel series, is launching with 2 books, Lunch Lady and the Cyborg Substitute, and Lunch Lady and the League of Librarians. And then the 3rd Lunch Lady book will be out in December, and that's called Lunch Lady and the Author Visit Vendetta. And so I figured if I was making fun of librarians in the 2nd book, I ought to make fun of myself shortly, right afterwards. So Lunch Lady and the Cyborg Substitute introduces everyone to the world of Lunch Lady, and she is a seemingly ordinary cafeteria worker, but she is secretly a crime fighter. So she doesn't have superpowers. She's more like a Batman or a James Bond, where she relies on her wits and her gadgets, and she has a sidekick named Betty. Like every lunch lady has like a sidekick lunch lady, and Betty is like Q to her James Bond, so Betty makes all of the gadgets. And there are these 3 kids who turn up for breakfast every day, Hector, Terrence, and Dee, and they just start wondering what their lunch lady does with herself after school. So they follow her home. But Lunch Lady's not going home. She's like on the trail of the Cyborg Substitute, and they kind of fall into all of the action. So they're kind of like Penny in the brain to her Inspector Gadget too. So Lunch Lady doesn't want them around. She doesn't want them to know about her crime fighting life, but they help her solve all of the mysteries and crimes in all of the books.
Cool. And what do you think makes a great comic book for kids?
I think, something that is, it's just like, I don't know, I guess something that's a lot of fun and something they can get into and attach themselves to. And, for me, I write books that I want to read and that I think are fun, and I just have a lot of this, I guess, the same mentality that kids would have in terms of what they would like as well. So I hope they connect with it. I know a lot of people have been coming up to me, and they have their own stories about their own lunch ladies, and I have a whole career in writing and illustrating picture books, so I've been going into schools a lot over the years anyhow, and now that I'm starting to talk about Lunch Lady and these school visits, the lunch ladies are just so excited to have a book that's pro lunch lady. So I feel like I might be taking on this cause of the rights of lunch ladies everywhere.
You're paving the way.
I'm paving the way. Although one lunch lady she looked at the cover of the 1st book and she said, "Way to perpetuate the stereotype." It's like, you fight crime. I knew it.
And so if you can think back to your childhood, can you name for me one book or one comic book that you think sort of has influenced your career as a children's book and as a children's graphic novelist?
Sure. Every day I would cut out Snoopy with Peanuts and Garfield and Calvin and Hobbes out of the newspaper, and then I would collect them in my own volumes. I would get big photo albums and just collect them all. So it's definitely those comic strips that I had in the newspaper. It was definitely the Batman and X-Men comic books that I read as a teenager. I would go to the comic book store. I would walk like a mile every week just to get to the store. If I wasn't able to get a ride, I would still walk. So all of those comics that I read as a kid, and certainly Saturday morning cartoons as well, had a pretty big influence on me.
Great, cool. Well, thank you very much.
Sure, thank you.